My God is awesome. He heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weak. Forever he'll reign. Come on, if you believe it, lift your voice and say. Come on, if you know he's awesome, say it. Come on and lift your voice. Awesome. My God. Come on and testify. Awesome. If you believe it, say it. Come on and say it. My God. Think about it. Savior of the whole world. Giver of salvation. By his stripes, I'm healed. My God is awesome. Today I am forgiven. His grace is why I'm living. Somebody ought to praise his name. Come on and testify. You know he's awesome. Say it. Come on and lift your voice and say awesome. Come on and say awesome. My God. Come on and say awesome. Come on, if you believe it, lift your voice.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I'm going to try to turn this off. I go through this all the time. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky.
Come on and lift your voice.
He's awesome. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky podcast radio, powered by Zeno FM. I would like to thank all of my Tea Time with Bunky followers and subscribers, everyone that has been there from the beginning, those that are new to Tea Time. Look, I'm trying to do this phone. I don't know how to work this phone yet. This is ridiculous. There we go. Remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe. I'm back on track. I'm sorry, y'all.
Bluetooth disconnected.
There we go. Okay. Remember, on Thursday nights after you view the show live, Tea Time with Bunky is on LLR Ohio and Cuzzo FM at 9 p.m. Cuzzo FM is in Germany. And on Friday mornings at 8:30 a.m., you can also listen to Tea Time with Bunky on LLR Radio and Wapter Music, which is in Guadeloupe, France. And that's powered by Zeno FM. You can go and download the app. It's free. And it's also supported by Online Radio Box. So that's what allows me to play the music again. Yay. Shout out to Senior for putting me on this platform. I'd like to give a shout out to the village. Those who are in the village, you know who are in the village. Tonight's episode, we're talking to survivor of Hodgkins Lymphoma. Hodgkins Lymphoma. There's two of them. There's non-Hodgkins, Hodgkins, and Hodgkins Lymphoma. Non-Hodgkins is deadlier, put it like that, because by the time it's diagnosed, it's further. So there are more people that are diagnosed with that than Hodgkin's lymphoma, which Rhonda, who's coming on now, is a Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. So without further ado, hi, welcome to Tea Time. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, it's loud. I didn't think you would say yes. I didn't think you would say yes. Because it's a sensitive topic for me. For those that don't know, Rhonda is my first cousin. She was like my sister, little sister, by a couple of months. I got her by a couple of months. So she was like my little sister. So to find out about that, when I found out about it, I take your breath away. So, Rhonda, outside of people knowing now that you're my cousin, my first cousin, tell people a little bit about yourself
Well, as you said, we first
and
cousins.
grew up
We grew
together.
up together in upstate New York, Catskill region. I moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, about 23 years ago, and my daughter and I have a home here, and I've been on my job. I work for Radiology of Indiana. I've been there 15 years, and I just love having a home and being out in the yard, and I love to travel and just being outdoors. And now that I'm getting a little older, I found this little adventure portion of me. It's coming out now. I was a single mom all my life, and until raising Gina, and just didn't get really a chance to do much. But now that she's grown, and um, I'm out there, I'm trying to do as much as I
Trying to live
can.
your life.
Yes, trying to do as much as I can, travel, soon to be international travel. So yeah,
Well,
I'm
you go
doing
ahead,
it.
Miss International Travel. I get it because your life is on hold when you have your kids, and then when they get older, you get older. You're like, wait a minute, there's nothing holding me back now. Let me go out there and do me. I'm not.
Yes.
I am not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Go out there. International, I can't rock with you. I can't. You can stay in the states. I'm not leaving the country. But okay, so radiology. Now that right there, that's something. That's something. We're gonna hit on that. So keep that in the back of your mind. Radiology. I wrote it down. Now you you're a healthy person, right? You go to the doctor regularly,
Yes.
right? Because from what I was reading, there there's nothing you can do to prevent. There is nothing you can do to prevent catching this form of cancer. It's
No.
really common in kids too.
Mm-hmm.
It's really common in kids. Now, take us to that day. Well, maybe a couple of days before. Like, what was going on with you? What was going on with you that you were like, oh, let me go to the doctor or
Well,
something?
besides working for Radiology of Indiana, which is my main job, I have a little side hustle,
Mhm.
so to be active in the evenings. And um, I found that I couldn't really do what I do because I clean offices,
Uh-huh.
just to, stay active and earn some extra money for my trips. And I could barely do my work without being winded
Okay.
and sitting. And also, I noticed usually I sleep on my back. I'm a back sleeper
Uh-huh.
normally. And I literally, when I would lay down on my back, it felt like somebody was standing over me, choking me, literally with their hands around my neck, choking me.
Now, how long did this go on
It
before
went
you?
on for about 4 months.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you would go to sleep for almost 4 months, feeling like you was being choked before you went to the doctor, Rhonda.
Yes. Be, you know how it is when you hustle, and you got bills to pay, and
I know.
and you feel like, okay, it'll just go away.
It'll go away.
But because I'm pretty active, but when I couldn't walk hardly or do anything, even housework, without getting winded and sitting down, okay, I was like, okay, something's not right. And it felt like my heart was beating out of my chest. And I went for my yearly checkup with my family doctor, and
Mhm.
I just started to explain that to her. And she says, okay, we're just going to order a chest x-ray. And plus, I
Mhm.
had a cough. I had a cough that just would not go away.
So when you went to your doctor, so between the symptoms and the cough, how was it? Were you due for your physical sooner or later? Or was it right around the time you were due for your physical?
It was that time. It
Okay.
was it was time for my yearly physical. I went in,
Okay.
um, and I told her about the cough. I didn't so much tell her about laying down, felt like I was being choked
Being choked to
to
death.
death. Yeah, I didn't say that, but she got alarmed by the fatigue and the prolonged cough. And also, what alerted me that something was not right is after I would get out of the shower, I would see these blotches on my body that hadn't
Really?
been there, and it got so bad it looked like I just got beat up, and I was black and blue all over.
Now, when did this, wait, for people that don't know, how long ago was this? How long ago?
This was in 2011.
Okay, so this was 2011. Okay, so did you tell the doctor about the bruising?
She saw that. She saw the bruising on me when
Okay.
she was examining me.
Okay. So
And
not one time, I'm sure you never thought cancer,
no,
right?
no, not once.
Okay. So she orders these tests. Like, what is she giving you a clue or anything of what she's looking for? Or
No, she had a poker face on that one.
oh God.
She sent me for the chest x-ray. I almost did not go, but I did go.
Thank God.
And because I work for Radiology of Indiana, the doctors that I work for read the x-ray and they called it what it was on the x-ray.
So how long did you have to wait after you had the x-ray? How long?
After I had the x-ray, they moved so fast. The next week I had a PET scan. And the week after that, I was in the oncology office.
But let me ask you, when you got the call, they called you.
The doctor, with the x-ray result, the doctor called me back in the office to give it to me in person.
So when they told you, okay, you have this, what went through your mind? Like, what does that, give it a picture for me. If you can give me a picture, like what happens to you, to a person when they're diagnosed with something like this?
My first thought was, that can't be right. I asked her, are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just fear. It was total fear. I go to church. I love the Lord. I should have the faith, but something like that.
You're
takes
human.
you down.
Yeah.
I'm human.
And it's you and your daughter. It's just the two of you out there.
Yes. And I didn't know at that time because I wasn't staged yet. Am I at the end? Am I at the beginning? Am I in the middle? And it was until I had the PET scan, I found out I was at stage 2. Before they sent me to chemo, they wanted to try to remove the lump, the mass that was in my chest, surgically. So they sent me to a heart doctor. Heart doctor looked at the x-rays, looked at the PET scan. He grabbed my hand.
Oh, Lord.
And he says, we can't do surgery because you'd be dead before I cracked open your chest. And I just started bawling.
So that was the choking because of the size of the mass.
Yeah, it was the size of a grapefruit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You didn't tell Gina. Well, no, because what do you do? Like, yeah, because now I'm like, well, what do you do? You're trying to process this.
Trying to process it. I took off of work to go to the doctor's office for the results.
Okay.
And then I had to go back to work. And I sat in my supervisor's office, and when I told her, she just let me sit there and cry it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sent me home.
It,
And that's when
I would hope so.
yeah. And
And
then I
but you
told
still.
I
I'm
told
sorry.
Gina, my daughter, that evening.
And how old was Gina at that time?
She was 17.
She was 17.
hmm A senior in high school, and she didn't know how to process that. And I told her they can't remove it surgically, so I have to go through the chemo.
Mm-hmm.
And the chemo had to be very aggressive, and it had to be very strong chemo, where it was every 2 weeks. I had to go in for the chemotherapy, and it was very strong chemo.
Okay.
One of the chemo drugs damaged one of my lungs, so I only have one functioning lung
Now.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many? No, let me back up. Okay, so you get the diagnosis. The surgeon tells you that they can't do surgery.
Mhm.
You tell Gina. Now, when did you call Aunt Sissy? Because I know that was a process in itself, trying to figure out how you gonna call
I called
her.
my brother Eric first because he lived closest to her. And I
Okay. Oh,
told him,
makes sense. Makes sense.
I
Okay.
told him, and he says, okay, I'm going to go over there now. So I will be there when you tell her.
That was a good play. That was a good play.
Yeah, he was there. And my mother screamed. She screamed and just cried.
Right.
She really didn't know what words to say, but she just was screaming and crying.
Right. Because you're her baby girl. You're her
Yeah,
only girl. You're her
yeah,
baby girl.
yeah. And
Okay.
my brother was there to hold her up and to try and console her, but she was pretty much inconsolable for
Yeah.
a while.
Right.
And I hated to tell her. I didn't want to tell her because I
I know.
know we lost my dad to lung cancer in 2007. And
So it was that close?
hmm
Okay.
yeah,
All right. So how long did it take for her to get there? Because I found out, let me tell you, I found out through random conversation. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like her sister. How am I through random conversation? It was just, oh, well, Rhonda got cancer. I was like, no, she don't. It was like that. I was like, no, no, she don't. Well, Sissy told me, I'm like, Aunt Sissy is extra. No, she don't. They over exact. No, she like that was really that was my response. I'm like,
yeah.
no, because she would have called me. I don't believe it. I'm like, no, no. And then I don't know if it was you I called or Aunt Sissy. I called somebody, and I didn't know what I didn't I might have talked to you. I think
You called me when I was in the hospital, and
okay.
I had the bone marrow biopsy, and I was in the hospital, and you called me, and that's when I gave you the definite confirmation.
Yeah, because I didn't I don't believe I'm sorry. I don't believe our family is extra. They're really
Yeah.
extra. And so if they say something, you gotta go to the source. Cause
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I could have a hangnail. Bunky broke a toe. It was a hangnail.
I know. Yeah, they add, subtract, multiply, and
Oh
divide from the truth
my
a little bit, but
God. Yeah.
my mother's good for that. you know,
She
but
is the queen. Hello. Her and my mother. Yo, no, I can't. You know what? As they all get older, they all got that mess. They all whatever. But you gotta love them because you already know what it is. They said something, go to the source or whatever. Okay, so how long after Aunt Sissy found out did because I'm just learning this stuff really now while we having this conversation. How long before she got to Indy?
she came probably about 3 weeks after I found out. She wanted
Hmm.
to be there for my first chemo treatment,
Hmm.
and she was, and I kind of feel sorry for the doctor because my mother, she is
Oh my
extra.
God.
So she put that doctor through the ringer and then some.
And the sad part is, if there's any doctors that ever see this, just know my family, they mean well.
They
They do.
do.
They come from a overprotective place, but
Yeah.
they don't know how to ring it in
Yeah.
and without going for the juggler. They just don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They don't. You got to break that cycle, Rhonda. Got to break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Breaking
But I'm
cycle.
glad she was there for the first chemo treatment
Absolutely.
because it didn't go well the first time.
What do you mean?
Well, I didn't have a port yet in my chest, so they tried to put the IV in my right hand, and the chemo drug is so strong it accidentally um, got came out on the outside of the syringe and got actually on my skin, underneath my skin. And I about came out of my skin because it felt like I was on fire.
So why would they try to give you the
It,
chemo before the port though?
well, they thought they could do it without a port,
Hmm.
and then they realized when that happened, it blew my vein. That vein never came back. It never regenerated.
Now, I've spoken to a couple of I've had two on the show. I've spoken to a couple of breast cancer survivors, and they talk about the red devil. Now, did you get that?
Yes,
You got that.
that's what damaged my lung.
Yeah, because that's some serious stuff right there.
Yes.
Now, how often do you have to get that one more than once? How often do you get that type of chemo?
I was getting it every 2 weeks.
That the red devil every 2 weeks?
Yes. I was getting 3 different types of chemo drugs at the same time. They were that
Intravenous or
aggressive.
oral?
IV through the port.
Now, Hodgkins lymphoma affects your lymph nodes, right? Your
Mhm.
lymph nodes. So, was it any place else besides in your chest?
No, God,
Well, thank
God
God
is
for
good.
that.
It did not
Yes.
spread. They would check me because I would get bronchitis quite a bit because of
Mhm.
the lung issue. And then they were scared since the mass was over my heart. They were scared I was going to have a heart attack. So I would get MUGA scans often,
What is a
just to
mugga
check.
scan?
It checks your heart and to make sure that I wasn't going to have a heart attack.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, how many chemo treatments did you have to have because they vary, right? How many?
And this is the thing. And I was not told this by the doctor that started the chemo.
Mhm.
He wanted to give me I had he wanted to give me 12 cycles, which is I started it in April and he wanted to go I went all the way to November of 2011. Um but my HR director at my job called me into her office
Mhm.
one day and said, "Well, the company is terminating their contract with the cancer center, because the doctors that I work for, I get discounts. I get free readings of all of my scans because I work for them.
Uh-huh.
And she suggested that I change doctors to help me financially, because a cancer diagnosis is not just detrimental to your body and your psyche, but to your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
A cancer diagnosis can pretty much bankrupt you if you don't have the right kind of insurance. And so when I did that, I saw the new oncologist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went in his office, because I had, well, actually, let me back up.
Okay.
Before I did that, there was a chemo session that I went to that went so horribly wrong. I did think that I was going to die.
What happened?
I passed out as soon as they put the syringe in, the first chemo drug. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
They put the first syringe in. The first chemo, I don't know if it was the Red Devil or which one, because I had 3 different ones.
Okay.
And I passed out, and they had to stop it. And after that, I went home and I told God, I said, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So if this is it for me, just take me, because I will not go and get another chemo. I will not do anymore. I'm stopping it. And I had stopped it, and I did not make another appointment. And then the next week, that's when my HR director came and talked to me about changing doctors. And I didn't tell her that I had already made it up in my mind that I was stopping the chemo, whether it was still in me or not. But I went and saw this new doctor, and he told me, he did a CT scan, and he came in and told me that he was stopping the chemo. Even though I wasn't going to take it anyway, I just didn't say it. I was just
God
going to
heard
wish he was
all of
dead.
your prayers. He heard just his.
And he says, ma'am, for Hodgkins lymphoma, you only need 4 cycles. I had 6 at the time he told me that. So the cancer was gone, and I was still having chemotherapy. That's what was making me
That's what the reaction.
That was the reaction. It was like a totally healthy person just giving them chemo just to give them chemo. And
Was Aunt Sissy there?
no.
Because she would have choked that. Oh,
Yes.
I don't think I can say stuff like that.
Yes. And I didn't tell her because I knew
Right.
how she would react.
Right.
But God.
But God.
He knew.
No, nobody but.
That the
Nobody
chemo
but.
was killing me, because the cancer, he had already healed me. He had already healed me. But if I would have had another chemo session after that, after I made it up in my mind to stop it myself, I truly believe that it would have killed me.
Die. Yeah. You would have died.
But
Ooh.
his grace and his mercy, you just can't beat it.
Not for nothing.
Not for nothing.
Not for nothing.
And
not for nothing.
I am so grateful, and I'm so thankful to God that he moved on behalf of my HR director, to tell me that he just intervened in so many different ways. And gave me the mind to stop it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that it was gone, but I just stopped it because I couldn't take anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. But I did have to have radiation after that.
Now, why, if it was gone, why? What's the point? You're talking to somebody who don't know. What's the point of radiation, and where was the radiation? Like, where did they radiate? That
It
makes
was
any sense?
in my chest where the mass was.
By your heart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I did have to have that. I had uh 4 weeks of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't so bad. The worst part about that was it just made my throat so raw because
Mm-hmm.
the radiation got to my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Um and but after a while that cleared up, and I
Mm-hmm.
have no real bad side effects from the radiation that I
Mm-hmm.
know of. I mean, they did say just watch out and get your mammograms because radiation can further down the road possibly cause breast cancer. And I am very faithful with getting my mammograms. And thank God all this time my mammograms have been clear, you know,
Right.
and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to God.
I'm so glad you had that prayer. You had to have that breakdown to
Yeah.
break through. That's I'm glad I didn't know this. I'm glad I didn't know.
I'm sorry that I didn't tell you right off
No,
because
no, but you had a lot going on. You had a
I
lot.
did.
Like, that's
I
not your
did.
first. I mean, that was my first response. Like, why didn't she call me? Da 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 da.
Yeah. Now
But
the first
no,
parts of the chemo when I first started getting it, you probably ever heard of the term chemo brain. Have you ever heard of that?
no, but I can tell you about COVID brain. I can tell you
Oh,
about that.
well, chemo brain is, I had a lot of memory lapses. Um, at work, I would go through so much scrap paper because I have to write everything down, or I just wouldn't remember. At one point, I was talking to our aunt Beatrice, and she asked me for my home address, and I could not give it to her. I had no idea what my address was,
Wow.
and so Gina, she gave it to her.
Uh huh.
And anybody that's been through chemotherapy can relate with the chemo brain, I'm sure,
Hmm.
um, because it will affect your memory.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
So when you got to ring that bell, do you ring bell? Do every cancer survivor ring a bell, or is that just breast cancer?
I think every cancer survivor should be able to ring it.
Ring.
Oh yeah, I did. I just was I didn't want to stop, because I was so grateful,
Oh my God. Yeah.
when the doctor told me that he was stopping I didn't need any more chemotherapy. I just literally melted in the seat, and I just cried and cried and cried, thanking God for
Right.
his grace and his mercy and his healing touch.
Yes. And that intervention, that prayer. I mean, he already knew. He already knew, but you spoke it out, and there was
Yes.
tears, and that was you was like, "I'm done. Take me now." And he like, "Nah, nah, nah. It ain't your time yet. It ain't your time. This is
Yeah, because
ain't
I
your
I
time."
thought about my daughter,
Right.
she's my heart. She's the love of
Right.
my life, and I didn't want to leave her, you know. I did not want to leave my baby.
Right.
So,
Right.
she's still my baby. She's 29. She's
It,
still my
it
baby.
don't matter. When she have kids, she's still gonna be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
change. Now,
Yeah.
it's not hereditary, right? It's not hereditary. Is it hereditary? It's not hereditary,
They
right?
no, they didn't say it was, and I asked, is there a screen, or is there something, how you can get mammograms for breast cancer, and you know,
Get
uh,
the blood
well,
work for that.
yeah, he said
Yeah,
there's really no screening for a Hodgkins lymphoma to catch it early. You just have to know. You have to just know your body
and listen to your body.
and listen.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't lay there
And
for 4 months and feel like you're getting choked out and don't do nothing about it.
yeah, and the cough, yeah, and
It
the
must have been a bad cough. It was a
it
bad
was the
cough.
cough because it was on my,
Hmm.
heart and everything, and I just was coughing and coughing, and
So what do they say about the damaged lung? Like, does it work or is it just like there?
I went through pulmonary therapy for a while,
Hmm.
um, and it inflates some, but not. They said it's just not going to inflate all the way,
Hmm.
so it's just. I mean, I still get winded pretty easy sometimes,
Hmm.
but I keep on going.
Right.
I went to Hawaii and I climbed
Yes, you did. You was doing
Diamond
the
Head.
most.
I was determined to do it. It took me quite a while, but I did it.
I don't think I could have did Diamond Head. I don't think.
I was determined. My daughter was with me, and I when I got to the top, I just was thanking God because the journey with the cancer, and I was thinking about that the whole climb up. I was
Mhm.
thinking about what I went through, how trying it was, because all through that I still had to work.
Mhm.
I still had mortgage to pay and all these other bills to pay. My Gina, she only had a little part-time job, and it was it was it was really hard. And I do have to give a shout out to my Aunt Mary because her sister helped me with a charity, and it helped me financially when I
Mhm.
really needed it, when I was at my really in the thick of the chemotherapy, and they
Mhm.
came through. I'm sorry that the name of the charity is escaping my mind right now. I do apologize, but I thank God for my Aunt Mary and her sister
Mhm.
that put me in contact with that charity, and and it's just been a journey. It's been a journey.
Cause that's the thing. Like with a lot, there's always something out there, some sort of foundation out there to help. But if
Yes,
you don't know,
I didn't
there's
know.
if yeah, if you don't know about it, yeah,
Yeah.
there would have
Now
been nothing.
I'm registered with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I go to, well, meetings. They just starting them back up. COVID canceled the meetings, where the survivors of leukemia and lymphoma, we meet, and because the doctors, they like to talk to us and find out, for current patients battling it and survivors, what side effects we're going through, because there's still research going on,
Mhm.
and it helps the research. So we meet maybe a couple of times a year. Um, uh,
Well, that's good.
yeah, they just started it back up. I got a notice that there's one at the end of this month,
Mhm.
and we talk with the oncologist, and they gain lots of information from, because everybody's battle is
It's
different,
different, right?
and and just hearing from survivors and people going through it, it helps the
Right.
research. And
And it
I
helps you also, not even just the research. If you're all
Yeah,
in a group, because you
yes,
know that you're not alone.
yes,
Like that's the thing. Like knowing when you were probably in the thick of it, you probably felt alone.
I
Like
did.
nobody knows, what I'm going through, how I'm feeling, and
Yeah,
like the thoughts. The thoughts that go through your head, especially when you're in the hospital, you
yeah.
know. You're in the hospital and oh my the thoughts that go through your head and you don't know. Like when did you know about before you were diagnosed with it? Who have you ever heard talk? Well, you work at radiology. But I was gonna say, did you know anybody that went through this?
No, no. We
No.
deal more with breast cancer patients
Hmm.
more than anything. Um, but I do have to to thank God for the radiologists that I work for, because they're good at what
Mm-hmm.
they do, and they'll read those scans and they know exactly what it is they're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
and they call it before the doctor can even call it. And I am grateful to God that, all things happen for a reason.
Right.
It was a reason why I left my one job and in workers comp and went to this company.
Mm-hmm.
you know I thank God for that. He brought me there for a reason. He
Brought you there
knew
for
I
a
was going
reason.
to need their help.
Right.
And they were good to me.
Right.
you know
Even though I've learned to look at things like that, like, I'm going through this tough not now, I'm just saying this is hypothetical. I'm going through this tough situation. Lord, why me? Why am I going through it? But then you think about it, Lord, why not me?
hmm
Because I'm going to get on the other side of it, and I'm going to be able to help somebody else.
yeah.
I can tell them, I've been, when you say I know how you feel,
Yeah.
how they feel,
Yes.
on those rough days and those rough chemo. Like, this is the first time I ever heard about chemo going wrong. Like, I've never heard anybody say chemo that went wrong. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
Yeah. And I was only 40 years old at the time. And when I my first appointment, a lot of people say I look young for my age. I don't look my
but
age.
we got them genes.
Yeah.
Hello.
And I heard this one nurse, she's like, "Oh, she's so little. She's so young. What's she doing here?" I'm like, "I'm not as young as you think, but thank
Yeah.
you anyway."
Don't don't you love that? I mean, like,
Yeah.
no, I'm almost 53. No,
I'm
you're
like, "Look
not
at
that
the
old
date
yet.
of birth, honey. Look at the date of
Look at
birth."
the day. These bones telling these bones.
But,
It's
40 is
it's
still
still
young.
young.
It's
It
still
is.
young to go through that,
It is.
and,
When you're in your 20s, 40 seems old, but is not old.
yeah,
It's not old at all. It's
yeah,
still, you're like in the prime of your life.
yeah,
So now I get why you're like, oh, I'm going to be a world traveler. Now I get it.
yeah.
I
When
I
it took me a while to bounce back
hmm
financially, and physically, from this, but once I did, and now, I mean, I work my little side job just so
do what you want.
I can do what I want. I have that little extra cushion. All my bills are paid. Thank you, Jesus.
Won't he?
And
Won't
then
he
I
do
can,
it? You could
and
just,
I take my little trips. I'll go by myself if I have to.
you
You
know,
know.
and I'm scary. And we had this conversation. We had we had this conversation. And I'm like, it's terrible, y'all. Yeah, I'm a terrible cousin. I've never been to Indiana, but I have to come down there because I have to go to Gary, even though I know it's a hot mess. I have to go see Michael's house. I mean, you sent me pictures. I mean, and Missy went to his house and sent me pictures. I'm like, that's I'm really doing my husband in my head this justice. I've never gone to his home. So I have to. I mean,
Well,
I want to see you, of course I want to, but I have to
well,
come.
I've been
I
in
gotta come.
Indiana for a long time, and I still haven't gone. That's just
You have you haven't gone to Jackson Street?
no.
Rhonda, come on. That's what we did. Come on, girl. Before
Well,
you
I'll wait for
travel.
you to come, and we'll go together.
Okay, so look. Okay, so yeah. Yeah,
Safety in numbers.
yeah, yeah. Because I heard that's a bad place. So no, yeah. So maybe I'm supposed to be going on a little trip this summer. My first out of country trip this summer. Um, Maybe I can do like a weekend thing. I don't know. We'll figure out something. We gotta start doing more things together. Um, I'm not gonna be daredevilish like you. I'm gonna let you know now. I'm not doing nothing too crazy. But who knows? I mean, like, I'm at
You
that
go
stage in my life.
white
Hmm?
water rafting.
What? with the fish and all of that. I don't do water. I don't mess with
I
the
have a
fish.
lot on my bucket list, believe me.
Nah, I'm not going in the air because of the bird. So we're not doing that parasailing. We're not doing that.
Oh, you would
What if
love
a
it.
no, I wouldn't because a bird with my luck would fly by and hit me in the face. So we're not doing that. Then I land in the water and there's a whale. No, thank you. No, we're gonna stay on the concrete. We're not even messing with the grass because of the stuff in the we're gonna stay on the concrete. Maybe the beach, maybe I don't know. It can't be seagulls that fly around there. I'm real particular, Rhonda. I would destroy your vacation. You'll be like, I ain't going nowhere with that girl. She just ruined everything. But yeah, just to hang out. I do. A getaway. I need to come and visit you. Maybe I. No, I'm not coming with Aunt Sissy. I can't come with Aunt Sissy. I, I love her so much, but I can't. I oh my god, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
No.
Mm-mm.
not, not with Aunt Sissy.
I'll pick you up from the airport.
Yeah, no, really. I'm gonna look into really I'm gonna look into flights and because I haven't taken time off of work and
Mhm,
maybe book something before my birthday, you know,
mhm.
come down there and come and see you, come see India. Now, how far are you from Michael's house?
Uh, Gary is probably about a 3, maybe 4 hour
What?
drive.
Oh no. No, that's too long in a
It's
car.
way up near. It's by Chicago.
Oh, by Shyrock? Oh, they call it Chiran, Shyrock?
Chicago?
Yeah, don't they have a name? They call Chicago Shyrock or Chiran or because it's
Um,
hard up there. I heard. That's what I heard. Now,
yeah, it's way northern Indiana. So yeah, it's probably about 3 4 hour drive.
Gina said it's 2 hours. Maybe how she drive. Is it how she drives that make it? Gina, you're a fast driver.
No, no, it's
No.
not 2 hours.
Okay.
No, it's probably a little longer
All right.
than
Well,
that.
when I come, that's one thing I really want to do.
Hmm.
That's I think the only thing on my bucket list is to
Yeah.
just say I was there. I would love to go around his birthday because I know his mother's there.
Uh-huh.
Catherine is always there. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
She, huh?
Every time it's Michael's birthday, she's always there that week of Michael's birthday. She's
Oh,
at the
really?
house. Yes. My mother-in-law, you know I know this stuff. She's always there, and she comes out because they have the little parade or whatever, and she'll come out of the house, and wave to the people because the people put the flowers out there.
Uh-huh.
And I sit home and cry all the time. Oh, I got to do better. But yeah, that's my. I don't know how this conversation got on Michael. Well, we gonna get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a historical place. I mean, I
Yeah,
love historical places.
right.
I like to, go when I do my little weekend getaways. I like to go to historical places.
You know where I want to
Yeah.
go? Where I think would be fun for me and you to go
Where?
to? I think it's in Washington though. That the African American Museum.
Yes, I went the year before
You
it
went?
opened. No, it was they were
Oh,
still building it the last time I was in DC, but I do want to go, and I want to go to the Civil Rights Museum.
is that in
And
DC too?
no, that's where is that? Is it in Tennessee? Is it in Memphis? I'm thinking.
See, we're not rocking with Memphis right now. We're not doing Memphis.
I
We're
may
not.
be wrong. I'm thinking
We're not
that's
doing
once,
Memphis
but it,
right
it
now.
may be wrong. I may be
Okay.
wrong with that, but I definitely want to go there.
Yeah.
Um, I already
I,
been. I went to Martin Luther King Memorial,
okay.
the one in Atlanta. I went to his where he's buried and his little museum there,
Okay.
and um, and yeah,
All right.
I love stuff like
No,
that. I love
and
history. I love Black
I
history.
love it. But I'm just, you know what? I was just always been so scary, but like you, but not exactly like you. Like we have our different growth spurts where we're like, okay, I'm at that age now. I'm gonna start doing this, and it's like you get in your 50s or whatever, and it's like, you know
Yeah.
what bothered me, you don't care anymore. It's like, it's not
Yeah.
that you don't care. It's just like,
Hmm.
I'm
There's so much to see in this country alone. I tell you, I would just like to get an RV and just get in and just look at it. You know, I
you
I
would
want to
drive
see,
you would
huh?
drive one of those.
Oh
You
yeah, not too big, you know,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just want to see everything. You know,
Right. I do too.
I want to
I do too.
see God's beauty right here in this country, and I want
I
to see it
know.
beyond. You know, going to Hawaii, it just was mind blowing,
Hmm.
and I just want to see more of it. There's so many Caribbean islands that are you don't need a passport to go to, and I
Hmm.
want to see those too. You know, U.S. Virgin Islands, things like that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, the boys told me, they was like, once you start going places, because they tell me that all the time. Once you start going places, I'll get out of that fear.
yeah,
So yeah, I need to start doing something and I need to get a life, basically. I need to
yeah,
get a life. So I'm gonna get a life. Me and you will let's plan something. We gotta plan it.
yeah. You got to do the DC tour. You got to do well. The last time I was there, Obama was in office, so it was a lot better. But I didn't go during the
I was
Trump era. But you know, but it
but in
was
the White House, you wouldn't have been welcome anyway. You
no.
wouldn't have. Don't nobody want to
But
go there.
that's when I went when Obama was still in office. And
Did you see
yeah,
him?
I went by myself and I just did the whole tour of DC. The African American Museum was not open yet; it was still being built. But I
Okay.
want to go back so I can see that. I definitely want to see that.
Okay. I want to see
Yeah.
that too. So I don't know how we would plan that, because you're all the way in Indy. So I don't know how we would
We would have
plan
to
that.
meet probably because you're closer to it than I am, and I can drive there.
Who drive? You listen.
Girl, I'll get
They
in the
lucky.
car in a minute and
They
I
lucky
am
if I
gone.
drive to Middletown. Okay. Like,
I love my road trips. I love my road trips.
oh Lord, oh God, I'm getting anxiety.
Yes.
No, I don't. We'll figure it out. I don't. I won't be driving. Let's just put it like, I will not be driving. I
Mhm.
can't do that. I get in the traffic and just something. Them trucks. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I
There's
can't.
just so much on my bucket list, you know.
Yes, but you know what? But you went through so much.
Yeah. I
You
just
went through so much.
want to
God
do it all.
delivered you. Oh my God.
God is
I still can't fathom what it felt like your when you said you were done. Like like I can't imagine what that's like to be at the point where you're like, I'm over this. If I die, I die. Like I
yes.
just can't fathom what that is.
So I told the Lord, I said, you know, if it's my time to go at age 40, then I'm ready. I'm ready.
Because you
I
just
don't
couldn't do
only
that.
yeah, I can't do it anymore.
Hmm.
I felt like the chemo was killing me anyway. So I said I want to go out on my terms if that's your will. And it was in his will. And I'm so grateful.
Now let me ask you, because like with breast cancer, there's always a chance of reoccurrence. Is
Yes.
there a chance of reoccurrence, or is that just with every kind of cancer?
It
It,
there is a chance. So every I've been doing like every 2 years doing a CT scan. I'm about due for one this year because I had one 2 years ago.
uh-huh.
So I will do another CT scan. And the last one they said is stable. It's not
Mhm.
growing,
It's in the
you
same
know.
spot.
It's
It's in
in
the
the
same
same
spot.
spot, but it's benign.
Okay.
And it's you know because they look for any kind of any movement in that, and it's still the
Hmm.
same size that it was
Hmm.
when the doctor said that it was gone. So I'm grateful.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's totally
yeah,
that's right, girl. You run out there and you go and do all those 1,000,000-mile hikes and do all that. You go ahead. You go right on ahead
Yeah.
and you live your life to the fullest. Live your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
I gotta get there. And I don't want something traumatic to happen to me to be like, I gotta do this. No. I want some of your energy. How about that?
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'm still not driving. But you guys were always travelers anyway. Y'all, I remember Uncle Barron had got that RV and y'all drove down to Florida. Y'all are just
Yes.
drivers. Like Aunt
Yeah.
Sissy will still get in the car and just go. You got to
Yeah.
see it. You got to see her and my mom. They're like the little golden girls. It's the funniest little thing. Like, look, but you look at this, they both heads can barely see. Oh, this is a hot mess. It's like, but they, you know, yeah, yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy, happy, happy that you're here. I'm happy that I didn't know your whole story. I really am. I know that's probably terrible, right? Because I wouldn't want to see you hurt like that. That would have killed me.
Well, the way
Um,
you reacted on the phone when I was in the hospital, I knew that it was really hard on you.
yeah, because I didn't believe it. I
Yeah.
was like, they just doing the most right now, but I couldn't. I had to be strong for you. I had to put up a front for you.
Yeah.
How you
I
gonna
could
be?
hear it in your
How am I gonna
voice.
be? But
Yeah.
how am I supposed to be acting up and you the one sick? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's because I love you so much. I do,
I love you.
and you know that. You always, you you know, you're my sister from another mother, but with the same bloodline.
Yeah.
It's like so. It's like it's what it is. Um. All right, you. We got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Is there anything you want to tell people watching? Um. Anything about the experience? Like, there anything you want to share? Like anything?
Just know your body. Pay attention. You know, cancer comes, it starts to manifest in so many different ways. So, like when you're in the shower, look at yourself in the mirror. Once you get out of the shower, look at your skin, because there's skin changes a lot with cancer in many different ways. If you have just if you have a cold and it just doesn't go away, like I had a cough that just didn't go away. I went through so much Robitussin and cough drops, but that wasn't going to fix it because it was something else going on.
Right.
So just pay attention, see your doctor, you know, ask yourself the hard questions. Is this normal for me? And then be honest with your doctor, you know. If you don't have insurance, since I work in insurance, there's there's charities out there that would help you, you know. There is a charity here in Indiana called Little Red Door that would help. They help me, um, you know, as well. And I did have insurance, but there's resources out there to get so you can get the help that you need. But you have to pay attention to your body. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. Um, you probably might be at a state where ignorance is bliss. If I don't know, it's not going to bother me. Well, yes, it will. Cancer is not going to stop just because you don't want to admit that there's a problem.
Mhm.
If I hadn't have gone to the doctor and had to see the chest X-ray, by the time something was really bad, I could have been at stage 4, but I was
Yeah,
only at stage 2. So I asked myself the hard question, and I went ahead and listened to the doctor, and I did what I needed to do.
Mhm.
It's scary, you know, to
Mm.
get that diagnosis is the most scariest thing ever. And you want to be in denial, but you can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Well, that was heavy just now, Rhonda. That was serious.
It's so easy to fall into a state of denial and then just go on about your life.
Right.
But you can't do that, you know.
Right.
And just
And
pray and ask God to help you,
right.
and he will do it.
He will do it. All you gotta do is ask.
He'll put people in your life to help you. He'll open up doors,
Yes.
doctors, radiologists, nurses. Thank God for nurses, you know. Thank
Yes.
God for nurses.
Yes. Thank God.
Uh,
Shout out to our cousin Nitisha. That you
yes,
said
thank God.
nurses. I had to shout her out. Yeah.
Yes, so many nurses were so good to me, and they have a hard job too, as well as the doctors.
Yeah.
But they're in the thick of it with you, you know.
They're in the thick of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to everyone that helped me. I'm grateful to God. Number one, I'm grateful to God, because without Him, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
You sure wouldn't.
I would not
You
be
sure.
talking to you.
You sure wouldn't. You would not
So He gets
be at
all
all.
the glory. He gets all the glory.
All of it. Every bit of it. Because he saw what was coming down the road and he
He
was like,
did.
all right. And because if you didn't get that last bad situation,
Mm-hmm.
things would have continued. So
Yeah,
yeah, God is good. He's so good. He's so good.
that's good.
Um well, Miss Whittington, it is 8:01.
I thank
You
you
did
for
it.
inviting me on this show.
And I thank you so very, very much for
Yeah.
your candidness, your openness, your transparency, um, because your story can help somebody else. Like that's the point of it, to help
Yes.
somebody else. So I thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
I
Um,
love you.
and I'm coming to Indy. We're gonna have to figure out the Gary thing. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll
Yeah,
talk.
I'll drive you up there.
Uh, we gotta see how them roll. Look, let me stop being so scary. Let's just talk about it and we'll see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey, Yona, look at that. Yona done tuned in. I think this is Yona first time tuning in. Shout out to Yona, another cousin, another cousin.
Hi, Yona.
Um, I
Love
thank
you.
all you guys for tuning in. And remember, like Rhonda said, listen to your bodies. Your bodies, nobody knows you better than you know
Yes.
you. Nobody know you better than you. So you go see your doctors. If you don't have insurance, get the state insurance. Do what you got to do. A little bit is better than nothing,
Yes.
and then
There's
just
always
go from there.
resources
So
out there to help you.
there's always resources. So
Yes.
you guys have a great night. Go live life to the fullest, but don't be reckless with it. Um, I will I will see you all next Thursday. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Um, you can send me stars now. You can send me stars. I got my what is that? Cash app. Because that's just to help, like with the little, because this costs me. I mean, like I can give a take, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, I'm still doing tea time. It's just there,
Hmm.
whatever. So you guys have a great night. Remember, you can also listen if you want to hear the radio, Rhonda, the radio version. This conversation is going to be bananas on the radio. It sounds so good on the radio, and that's tonight at 9 o'clock on LLR radio, which is Ohio, or Kuzo FM station, which is in Germany. When you download the app, these are on there. Or if you want to listen to it going into work tomorrow,
Okay.
just driving into work, you can listen to it on the LLR radio or WAP the radio, which is Guadalupe. I'm international. So look at
God
God.
is good.
Won't he do it though? Won't he
He
do it?
will.
He
He
will.
will.
You ask and it will be given unto you.
Yes.
That's how it happens. So you guys have a great night. I'm going to end this conversation now. Don't forget to tell someone you love them and be kind, because it really doesn't hurt. You don't know what somebody's going through. So you guys have a great night. I'll